Alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, bro.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
yeah, good
Good
evening.
introduction, please.
Good evening. My name is Bashir. The Hajj Bash there is like
Yes.
a nickname.
Yes.
Yeah, the Hajj Bash there is like a nickname. My real name is Muhammad Bashir, and I'm from Nigeria, northern part of Nigeria, Kaduna to be precise.
Nice to meet you, Haj
Yeah.
Bashir. You're welcome.
Now,
How may I?
um, I've once I've come across your video where
Mm-hmm.
you were talking about salat, that there is no five salawat and the whole of Quran, and that the only place we can find Quran is in the Bukhari, and you said if that is our God, and I was really disturbed. But fortunately for me, this evening I came across your live program and decided to to partake. Please, before I would say anything, I would like to ask you a question because I see it seems you're somehow you seems to have some understanding about Islam. I don't know. I can't really say it's a misconception about Islam, but then I would want you to prove me because that's what Islam is all about. Whatever you say today in Islam, you have to bring up a proof. So do you understand the terminology called turjama?
Tarjama, that is translation. Yes, I understand. Yes.
And do you understand tafsir?
Yes. Tafsir is when you
So
are given commentary.
now, can you tell us the difference between those two things?
Is that what you came to ask?
Sorry, that's why I said sorry. I would want to ask a question before I start saying anything.
Everything is about perspective, right? The one you are talking to, I've translated a fully translated Quran, right? It took me
Okay.
6 years. Yes, I know Tarjama and I know Tafsir. They are two different
Okay.
things, they're not the same. Now, when it comes to translation, if you speak, so let's
Okay.
say in Hausa language, right? And
Mm.
I said, kashe fitilan na. If I use the word kashe fitilan na, it means if I am going to translate it to English, I don't have to translate it exactly the same way as word for word.
No.
It, if I bring it to English, I don't have to say kill the light. That is wrong
No.
in English. So I have to say
No.
switch off the light.
No.
So when it
No.
comes to tarjama, you have to know what an equivalence of a grammar, a sentence, or a word gives you in another language, but you need to have the expertise of arranging the closest sensible part of the statement to another language so that it can make sense to whoever is reading in the other part of the language. That is tarjama. Then when it comes to tafsir, the Quran on its own is the ahsan al-tafsira. Quran chapter 25 verse 33. It is the best in explanation on its own, or best in commentary. So what the Quran does is, the tafsir of the Quran, when you are reading the Quran, you go to another chapter to find further explanation about what you read in that different chapter. You understand? Then we have
No.
something we call siyak al-kalam. Siyak al-kalam is knowing how context work. If every written work in this world, if you don't know how to analyze context, you are in limbo. You don't know where to start from. You don't know where to end. And then we have something we call subject, which we can say mawdu in Arabic, right? If you know a topic or a
No.
subject of something, then you can actually pinpoint the context, the siyak al-kalam of that subject. Then we have something we call muhtawa. Muhtawa is to have a content, what you are really dealing with. Inside a content of a written work, if you don't know the subject and you don't know the context, you cannot do tarjama and you cannot understand the tafsir. So in order to give tafsir, you have to know all these roots of this structure before you can give tafsir of something. But the Quran doesn't need external tafsir. It is its own tafsir. So for instance, when you are watching football, right? You are watching, you are seeing whatever is happening. But why is it that you need a commentator to be doing the tafsir to you? The commentator is not telling you something external. It's telling you exactly what you're watching in your eyes. But the fun of it is you love to hear him speaking. So the Quran does the tafsir on its own. That is why it's the best in tafsir. Your next point.
Now, I am happy you've really given an elaborate explanation to those two terms. Now, the next thing I would like to ask is how is the glorious Quran being passed down to us from generation to generation?
Now, first of all, throughout the Quran, if you go to Quran chapter 35, verse 31 to verse 32, this is very, very interesting. So get your pen ready, write it down, and make a research for yourself after I finish this. When you go to Quran, Surah Al-Fatir, chapter 35, verse 31 to 32, I'm going to give you the verses, and we are going to elaborate on it, right? So he says, وَالَّذِي أَوْهَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ مِنَ الْكِتَابِ. Then he says, هُوَ الْحَقُّ مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ. Then he says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ بِعَدِيهِ لَخَبِيرًا بَصِيرٌ. Then it goes down, verse 32. ثُمَّ أَوْرَثْنَا الْكِتَابَ الَّذِينَ أَصْطَفَيْنَا مِنْ عِبَادِنَا. Now, this is the actual point I want us to see. We can continue the verse, but that's the actual point I want us to see. 31, 32. Now, the prophet received the Quran by revelation and inspiration. Then it has to now be written down, right? He received it by inspiration.
Brother, sorry. Hold on, please. I understand how Quran is being revealed to our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and how the Quran was being preserved during his lifetime. I'm talking about from after the death of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How is the Quran being preserved, and how how is the Quran being passed on from generation to generation? That's after the death of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The reason I'm asking this question is, you said you don't believe in the hadith, right? You don't believe in the hadith, and you obviously condemned the scholars of hadith, and you also that's it. I heard from the video you condemned the scholars of hadith. Now, if you are doubting the hadith, how come you're not doubting the Quran?
Brother, are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Can you mute your mic?
Okay.
When I was answering you, you should have left me finished. You don't know the point I was heading to. I don't know if you have been to the barber shop, the haircut shop before. When you go to the haircut shop, when they start cutting your hair, don't rush to interrupt. First of all, you've asked your question. Leave me to finish answering. Then you know where I'm heading to. I'm a learned person, right? So I know how to arrange a discourse or a sentence. I know where I'm heading to. Now, if you want to question me like you know it all, I'll put you in a tight corner you can never escape, because it seems you want to act like you know it. You are a Sunni and you are representing an ideology. You are telling me you know how the Quran was preserved. I can twist the table around and put you in a tight corner. So be careful when you come like you want to question me like you know it all, right? So now let me finish answering you in the first place, because it's not a debate. That's why what you said, you didn't come to debate. You didn't come to do a dialogue. You came as a questioner. So humble yourself. Now let me finish. So God says, and what we have inspired to you of the book is the truth, right? Is the haqq. Musaddiqan lima bayna yadayhi, confirming what was before it. Then God says, indeed, God to his servant, he is cognizant and what? Seeing, is aware of us. Then he says, ثُمَّ أَوْرَثْنَا الْكِتَابَ الَّذِينَ أَسْتَفَيْنَا مِنْ عِبَادِنَا. So the same book which he inspired to the prophet, since the prophet was a human being and inspired him and he taught him how to read and write, he will now choose among his servants who will inherit the same book. Prophet Muhammad didn't receive a physical book like this from heaven. Chapter 6, verse 7. It didn't come directly from heaven as a book completely like this. It came by inspiration and revelation. Wahi and Tanzil together. So now, in order to pass it to generations, it is not the duty of the prophet. God never said in the Quran whatsoever that you should transfer it to Ali, to Usman, no. These are doctrines you guys wrote for yourselves and you're lying to yourselves. Now, how did the Quran get to me? That is not the question I need to answer. Mine is just to investigate the Quran. God says, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ وَلَوْ كَانَ مِنْ عِنْدِ غَيْرِ اللَّهِ لَوَجِدُوهُ فِيهِ اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. So today don't contemplate the Quran. Had it been from other than God, then we would have found in it numerous discrepancies or contradictions. You understand? So the point is, me being a believer of the Quran now, I don't need to know in whose hands did it pass before it got to me. Mine is the book is claiming to be from God. Take it, use your intellect, check it. أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ أَمْ عَلَى قُلُوبٍ أَقْفَالُهَا. Do they have locks on their hearts? I don't have a lock. Now I took the book and I'm checking. Do I need to know in whose hands it passed? I don't give a damn. Mine is to check the book and its credibility by the words of God, because I need to believe in God, my maker, and check his book. So whatever I don't have knowledge in, I don't follow it. وَلَا تَخَفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٌ. Chapter 17, verse 36. So now if you come to me, how did it go through the hands of generations by generations? If you have stories, that's up to you. Believe it. I don't believe in that bullshit. Mine is just to stick with the Quran. Do I have the word of God? Check it. I know some people will say, oh, how do you know we have the Warsh, we have the Hafs, we have the Al-Duri? How do you know? Give me all. I'll sit down and tell you the contradictions and whichever is from God and which is not. I use my intellect. I'm a human being. God-given talent. Check whatever you are being given. Verification. You tell the police you have an ID, he will say, give it to me. He will check to see whether it's valid or not. Simple. Back to you. Now you can come back.
Okay. From your point, you said you don't want to know, I mean, you don't care how the Quran got to you. Now, I know if I ask you now, you would say Quran is authentic. Now, if you are doubting the authenticity of a hadith, of a hadith, but then you're not doubting the authenticity of the Quran. Meanwhile, the Quran was transferred from generation to generation through those links. When you check the isnad on how the Quran was being transferred from generation, it came through those same people. You are doubting you're doubting some of the things they said about the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Wait. Stop there. Who transmitted the hadith you have today? The hadith books. Who transmitted them to you?
Bukhari, Muslim,
Tell me,
Ibn Majah, and the rest.
No problem. Tell me one Quran Bukhari transmitted. One
Bukhari,
chapter, just one surah that has the signature of Bukhari on it. I'm waiting.
No.
Then why did you say the same
people
are the ones who transmitted the Quran?
Now, how is that? What I asked the other time, that how is the Quran being transferred from generation to generation? If you read the biography of those scholars, when you read the biography of those scholars, before they dive into the area of hadith, they've memorized the Quran. Most of the
biography of who?
Of the scholars of hadith.
Who made them scholars of hadith? Was it the Prophet?
You can decide not to call them. You can decide not to call them that. But that, to me, they are the scholars of hadith. To me, you don't believe in hadith.
No problem. So
you cannot. You're free not to call them.
Bashir, no problem. If you want to believe they are scholars, that's fine. I don't have anything against them. I'm only asking you, who made them scholars of hadith?
Now, they didn't make themselves scholars of hadith. It was after their generation.
Simple question.
It was after their
simple question. Who made them scholars of hadith?
Who made them scholars of hadith? I said it was after their generation that the scholars, the Sunni scholars, the Sunni scholars.
Bashir, excuse me to say, what is your level of education?
I'm a degree holder.
Brilliant. So please act like one when I ask you a question. Who made them the scholars of hadith?
And I said it's a unanimous thing. I don't know the specific person, but it's a unanimous something.
So the Prophet doesn't know them, right?
The Prophet doesn't know them.
Okay, then put them aside. Let's talk about who the Prophet knows. Tell me who the Prophet knows, and then we can question you on that. So let's move on.
Now,
let's go.
Now, the companions of the Prophet were the ones the Prophet knew. Should I call them?
No, I know them. Don't need to mention their name. I know.
Okay.
What are you going to say on them? What are you going to say about them?
You said you just asked a question. You said, who does the Prophet know? And I said it's the companions.
Don't take my words out of context.
Okay.
I said you mentioned the scholars of hadith, and I said who made the scholars, and you say you don't know. And I said which of them does the Prophet know? So we are still talking about scholars of hadith.
Okay. Now, do you know we can say from the history of hadith and how hadith is being gotten. Hadith is being gotten from the period of the companions.
Who authorized the hadith books you are using today?
The hadith book we are reading.
Yes, you are using today. Who authorized them to you?
I can't really say.
So you are not sure?
I can't really say, yeah, but I believe in hadith.
It's no problem, bro. If you believe in hadith, I'm not going to cry. I'm not hurt by that. I'm not offended.
What I'm saying is, if you are doubting the hadith, it means you're equally doubting the companions in the first place.
Where did God say I should believe in the companions? Give me a verse.
They didn't say you should believe in the companions. Now, okay, you don't believe in the companions, then why then do you believe in the Quran? Because the same Quran, the same companions, you're saying you don't believe in them.
Stop going everywhere. Please stop going everywhere. I never mentioned that I don't believe in the companions. I only said, where did God say I should believe in them? It's a simple question. You are a degree holder.
There's nowhere in the Quran.
You are a degree holder. Don't forget.
I don't believe you. I don't expect you to believe in the companions.
Okay. So it's not arbitrary. So don't use the companions. Exactly. Don't use the companions to shackle my neck, because God didn't make it binding on me. Now I'm going to give you one hadith. Are you aware of the hadith? The book of Zud and softening hearts. It's found in Sahih Muslim. Sahih al-Muslim 3004. I'm going to quote the hadith. According to the hadith, the Prophet says, La taktub anni غير القرآن. Right? ومن كتب عني غير القرآن فليمه وحدث عني. That is Sahih Muslim Hadith 3004, the book of Zud and Softening Hearts, right? So the Prophet says, do not write anything from me except the Quran. Whoever writes anything from me other than the Quran should wipe it out, should efface it. But he gave you the chance to narrate from him. The word hadithu anni is different from saying kataba anni, to write something from me. They are two different things. Hadithu is to narrate. Just like God says in Quran chapter 93 verse 11, فَأَمَّا بِنِيمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. So if God says فَحَدِّثْ, does it mean write it down? The answer is no. فَحَدِّثْ means to narrate something. So now, if I'm narrating something, right now I'm talking to Brother Bashir, beautiful, nice brother, smart brother. So now if I'm narrating something to you, from you to other people, does that mean necessarily I have to write it down? The answer is no. So now, if the Prophet actually said this in his hadith, do not write anything from me except the Quran. Hello? Who gave you the license to write the books you are proud of right now?
The Prophet said they shouldn't write anything other than the Quran. Do you know when he gave that? Do you know when he gave that word?
Now
Do
you
you know
tell
when he
us.
gave that command?
Tell
It
us.
was it was during the period when the revelations were still coming. They don't need the hadith. They don't need the hadith, and the urgencies of hadith was not needed at that time, at the period of during the lifetime of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They didn't need
Give
the
me that.
hadith at that time because he was still alive.
Okay, no problem. Brother Bashir, what you just said, let's assume I believe you. Can you prove to me? Where are you talking from? Where's the source of information?
Of what information?
The one you just told me right now. You asked me if I know which timeline did the prophet say so and so. Right?
Okay.
So prove to me. Who told you that is the timeline when the prophet said this and that and that?
It's in the hadith.
Give me the reference. I can open it now. Sunnah.com.
I can
By the way,
I can bring it offhand. I can bring it offhand.
you
I
don't
can
have
bring
books.
it offhand.
You don't
I
have
don't.
books with you.
I'm not close. I'm not close to any books right now.
So you didn't come to question me. You didn't come prepared to question me.
I don't have it on me. I don't have it on me right now.
But if
But
it
I
is
can
the
bring it.
Quran, people have memorized
I
it by told me from the head, right? You see how easy it is from the Quran.
I don't get you. You said?
Well, I said if it was a verse of the Quran, it easily you could have quoted the verse for me and told me it's in this
Yes.
chapter.
No one can ever compare the hadith and the Quran.
You just
You
did.
can never compare. I'm not comparing it.
MashaAllah. I appreciate
I'm
that.
not
You don't do that.
yeah, I'm
Because
not
you
comparing it.
told
But do you know in order for you to understand, do you know in order for you to understand the Quran completely, that you would need the hadith?
according to who? Who said that?
Huh?
Who said so?
According to who?
Yes. Who said so?
And I asked you a question, you couldn't answer me. I said,
Brother,
how is the Quran? How did the Quran get to us now? How did the Quran get
brother,
to you? You
no
couldn't
problem.
answer me that.
I answered to the audience. They took their answer. Now you just said something. I'm asking you, according to who? Who said I cannot understand the Quran without the hadith? Answer me. Simple. Who said so? Hello?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Who said so?
You know what, brother?
I don't know what.
I
Please,
wait.
please.
Hold on. I'm the kind of person that listen. I cannot argue what I know. I cannot bring up the proof. Now you've challenged me, and I'm going to accept the challenge. I don't have the proof right now, but I'm going to prepare myself and come back. If that's what you want.
Don't
I only
overcome.
came here.
Don't come back.
I only came here to ask you. I only came here to ask you question based on the video I said I saw.
No
One
problem.
of your
No.
video I saw.
Bashir.
Now,
Bashir.
when you talked about
Bashir.
now,
I'll give you the chance to ask me last question, then we go. But I'm going to give you an advice. When you are coming
okay,
back to me, the correctional officer, check the title
no,
of the program. It says the correctional officer's den. The reason why I choose den, you know the lion's den, right?
no.
When you enter into the den, it's only the lion that can give you the chance to go out. Now, if you're coming back, I'm going to give an advice. Please take it. When you're coming back, don't come back alone. Come with your teacher or scholar.
Okay,
Please, I am advising you. And when you are coming back, don't come with an audio. Come with a video. I want to see you. So come with somebody
no.
better than you. I'm advising you, please, as a honest brother. I like your smartness. You are brilliant. You were honest. You understand. Even though you try to go all places. I love that. I love your passion. I would love that you are doing this for the sake of God, but maybe you have been blinded in some way you don't know. I love that. I'm giving you the chance because you're smart. But please, I'm advising you, if you're coming back, don't come back alone. Because in that coming back, if you come back and you still tell me you have to go and do research, I will embarrass you.
Okay,
To be honest, I will embarrass you big time. Now,
okay,
politely, I gave you the respect. I didn't let you show your video. I force people to show their video. I have a reason why I do that. I'm on the internet and all over. People know me. I do lectures. I'm not hiding from anybody. Whatever you claim you know from the hadith, I've passed that level. I've studied it before getting to this point. I just act like I don't know it. Right? So now ask me your last question. Let's go.
Do you believe in tafsir?
Of who?
Do you believe in tafsir generally?
Of the Quran, yes.
Now, who is the first mufassir?
According to who?
No, it's a question. It's a direct question. Who is the first mufassir?
Of what?
Quran came from someone, right? It was
Came
first
from
of all
God.
revealed to some. It was first of all revealed to someone, right?
And it came from God.
Yes, it came from God. It was first of all revealed to a man, right?
No, to an angel.
It was first of all revealed to a man.
No, to an angel.
Hold on. You said Quran was from God, right?
Yeah.
In its book, and they kept it in Baitul Izzah. It was from that Baitul Izzah that the angel reveals it piecemeal by piecemeal. Are you listening? Huh?
You're breaking my head. Mute your mic. What is this? Baitul Izzah. Where does it say that in the Quran? Is that what God told you? The Quran was revealed in Baitul Izzah. I'm only helping you, brother. I said the Quran was first revealed to an angel because God has to give it to an angel. And the angel has to bring it to Muhammad. Quran chapter 2 verse 97. It was Jibril who brought the Quran down to Muhammad. So it was first revealed to Jibril as a messenger. Then he came to teach another human messenger, which is Muhammad. Simple. I'm helping you. Please, please. Bashir, now you can speak. Unmute your mic.
Who is the first mufassir now? Since the Quran was revealed to someone from the angel, right? Who was the first mufassir that
now,
you know?
Can you mute your mic? I'm going to answer you.
Okay.
Good. I like that. You are very, polite. I'm going to answer you. You are asking a question, who is the first mufassir of the Quran? I'm sorry to disappoint you, brother, but the Quran, God didn't leave it unexplained. God already did the tafsir and brought it. I gave you the answer earlier. You were not paying attention. Quran chapter 25 verse 33. وَلَا يَعْتُونَكَ بِمَثَلٍ إِلَّا جِينَاكَ بِالْحَقِّ وَأَحْسَنَ التَّفْسِيرَ. And they will not come to you with an instance, with a case, with an argument, with an example, but we have brought you the truth and best in tafsir. So now, we all know what we call sigatul tafdil, right? Which is a superlative form. We have good, better, best. So God is telling you ahsana tafsir, best in tafsir. So now automatically, you the intellectual person listening to me right now, especially Bashir, if God says this book is best in tafsir, then who is the mufassir? I'm not going to answer. You answer for me.
God.
Have you answered? According to me.
According to you.
So not according to the Quran anymore.
According to you, God is the best mufassir. And according to the Quran, let's say, yeah, God is the best mufassir. Now, referring to man. Do you know why I can't really say anything now? Because whatever I say now, you don't believe in hadith. That is it. You don't believe in hadith.
Bashir, you haven't proved to me why I should believe in hadith. Have you proved that to me?
Hold on. You don't believe in hadith. That's why most of the things I'm saying now is as if I'm referring back to I'm referring back to our context. You don't believe in that. So like Bashir, I said before, are you listening?
I'm listening very well.
Okay. Like I said before, I am going to come back. Inshallah, I promise you I'm going to come back.